it was very late. Him and I were playing. Somebody came and joined us. Can I sit down with you guys? Absolutely. So this dude sits down, another person. Next thing I know, we got like maybe 5 or 6 people sitting at this table. And there's a good amount of money being thrown around. And it's kind of interesting because it's all digital, but you can see, where the money's going or whatever. Yeah. We're playing real poker here. And this is where it all gets pretty hazy. I ended up losing like a lot of money on a single hand, and it was really bad the way that hand went type thing. And I was pretty upset. And then I was like, I'll be back. I just got to walk away for a second and I'm coming back. And I started to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, dude, and I may or may not, I don't condone this.
Welcome back to the show. There's no telling where we'll go. So come and share a laugh on the Imp and Skizz podcast.
I need a vacation.
I was going to say, what is wrong with you?
I'm very, very tired, dude. I got to tell you, I have been going.
I wasn't sure we had started yet. I thought you were just getting something out of your system there. What the heck?
We're off to the races.
Yeah, okay.
Dude, I have been at it 7 days a week for countless weeks now. And now, for the record, it's not like I'm working 8 to 10 hours on Saturday and Sunday. That's not what it is. But there's always some element of work that's got to be done. There's always a handful of hours on the weekends as well. And it's been, and before I say this, I am grateful for everything, but I am one man and I am tired and I need a vacation.
You do. I just took one not too long ago and I'm still feeling pretty refreshed from it. So I'm not quite in the same boat you're currently at, but I can tell you vacations help whenever you need it. We talked about, remember my analogy about the phone battery slowly like getting it lower and lower.
Remember
to its
how
actual
well
capacity?
I listened to you and I haven't made a change.
Yeah. I think we were talking about like the fact that you get to a point where you like need to recharge the battery, you need a vacation. Yeah. And I thought it would be fun because we've actually taken a few vacations together.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I want to, we can talk about some of those and then hopefully a little reminiscing of vacations that you've had will get you going and get you motivated to get one booked.
Yeah.
No,
I
especially if you need one.
Well, and so that's good. See, and I got one, my wife booked us a cruise for it's a few months in the future, but
we love our cruises.
And we're going to talk about those too. That's what we're doing today. We're going to reminisce about different vacation stuff, not just vacations with like that we happen to be on.
So now we're like travel agents. Like now we're talking about, we're not professionals of anything. But now today we're going to give advice on where you should plan your next vacation.
Okay, fair enough. First of all, no, I like it, but that was, dude. We're not professionals of anything. No, but no. This is our travel agency. Like they come in, they're like, so I could you budget this? Or like, let me just tell you about the stuff I've done.
No, but some of the spots that we've been to, maybe people want to hear if it's something that they'd be into, I can tell you one of my favorite things, and if I could like pick up and move my life right now and I could afford to do this, beach house all day long.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it is with me and the sound of the ocean waves and the sand and like, just love it. It's the cool breeze off the ocean. I just, every morning, just getting your cup of coffee, sitting on the deck and just watching the waves as the sun comes up. Like that to me is my paradise.
Yeah.
And we actually found that with help of a buddy of ours.
Yes, we did.
He was coming up on his 40th birthday, wanted to celebrate in style and invited me, you, McBean, and all of our families. So it was like 4 of us and our full-blown families invited. So we had to get like this very big house. And he found this house. It was amazing on the beach in San Diego. And it was big enough for all 4 families.
Yes.
And I was a little scared because like 4 families coming together to live together, you never know how that's going to go.
No, you don't. It actually got a little rough right away with the shopping, if you remember. It was just like people couldn't get completely leveled on shopping lists. And And you know me, I'm just like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. You know what I mean? But that's not helpful. It's like, people need
just pick up whatever. Everybody has their own like dietary needs, I guess.
Yeah.
But we got to San Diego. We walk into this big giant house. We each pick our rooms. I think I had 3 kids with me. Yeah, this was like 10 years ago, 11 years ago. So I would have had 3 kids with me.
Did I have both mine or just one?
One.
I think
the other one was like staying with a friend or something.
Something was, I don't quite remember, but yeah. That was, I remember when we walked in, it was just so beautiful. And it was right. And when we say on the beach, we're talking when you go to use the grill in the back, you're standing in sand. Yeah. Because the sand got up onto the deck and stuff. Like it was just, oh my goodness.
Yeah, you're like, it's got a little short wall back fence, and so people walking by, you're just like, what's up,
Pink Dolphin. That's the name
Pink
of the
Dolphin.
place.
Oh yeah. It had a name because the house was painted pink and it had a big old dolphin on the side of it.
Look it up.
Yeah,
it was wonderful. That's where we stayed. Oh,
it was a massive house.
So much fun.
So yeah, we showed up and we would just, we did all sorts of stuff. Like we were into CrossFit at the time. Remember that?
Yep.
And so our big thing was like, we're going to get up in the morning and do a WOD on the beach in the sand, burpees in the sand. That'll be cool. And we'll run a mile down the coastline, and in sand. And yeah, I think you put together like a WOD. We're going to talk CrossFit talk now.
The workout
of the day. You know what, dude? I've actually really missed CrossFit right now.
Yeah.
Like I've been sorry.
When did you get ADD?
Yeah. Sorry. I've just been thinking about it a lot lately. And as I'm like trying to get back into a regiment now, I'm just like, man, I miss the CrossFit days. I walk in my garage and I still have like all this CrossFit equipment in there from when we used to use my garage as our own CrossFit gym after ours had changed ownership or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, I think you and our buddy, put together.
So Joe is the one we were there for, and and I think he maybe we wrote it together. I don't remember, but writing workouts was something that I was doing a lot of at the time, both for us and for the gym.
Yeah, because you'd become a certified trainer, right?
Yeah. So that was a thing. Anyway, so it's always, those things are always more fun in a different environment, and so when we did it on the beach, it just was like, I'm going to find a way to use the sand. I'm going to find a way to make this interesting. And I remember like there was a lot of squats in that particular one. I remember being like, this is going to be fun because I'm going to watch everybody shuffle their feet in to get solid ground before they can do their squat. So it was a very fun trip. It was very relaxing. And it was also my first exposure to doing a group trip, which I went on in life to do more of. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But it was my first exposure. And like you, I actually I was a little bit anxious because I was like, if an issue breaks out, now you got to live with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels like anytime you have that many people together, there's always going to be drama of some sort or something. But I mean, we're pretty unscathed for the most part. I mean, we had a 1-year-old. I think she was about 1, my youngest daughter at the time. And so we had to deal with that. Like I remember, and my wife took on a lot of the burden so that I could hang out with my buddies, and I appreciated all of that. But that meant that like when the little one needed to go down for a nap, my wife had to bring like a baby monitor to the beach.
Yeah.
So like we're sitting on the beach under the umbrellas and the chairs and stuff, chilling. And meanwhile, she's got a baby monitor, and then the baby would wake up. She'd have to go feed her and stuff. And then the house had to also deal with a baby, getting cranky every once in a while. But
the thing is though, like your little 1-year-old at the time was so cute that she
became part of the entertainment.
Well, yeah. And maybe I'm speaking for myself, but maybe I really think I'm speaking for everybody. We loved every bit of her, like every bit, even the cries. Like there was one point, I don't know what kind of snack it was, but she had this like plastic container of these like little Cheerio looking things or whatever they were. When she was eating them, she's good to go. But the second that she would run out or there wasn't some right in front of her, she would lose it, like hyperventilate cry. Remember that? And it became awful but funny. Like it was and super cute. Like give her the Cheerios or whatever it was.
But that trip was so much fun, and yeah, it was a group trip. But like after that, I realized like this is my jam. Like, and my whole family, they loved it. Like the entire time, it was like this is our comfort vacation right now. And so we made it a thing to where we'd been back almost every single year since then. And that was like over 10 years ago. We've been back. I think we've missed maybe 2 years where every summer we go back and we rent a different house along the same exact beach. Because it had that really cool pier, right? There was a pier, and at the end of the pier, there was like this seafood restaurant at the end of a pier, like over the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how they even managed that.
Yeah.
And so there's a seafood restaurant. Anyway, we loved it. And so we would just get a different house along the same beach on both sides of the pier, like every year, just like Airbnb or whatever, and just rent it out for like a week. And it's become like our jam, you know?
Yeah.
That place had some really cool stuff. You know, they had like a farmer's market every Friday for a while. And so we would make sure to go. We went there one year on July 4th, and they actually shot fireworks off from the end of the pier.
Oh, cool.
And we were in a house that was like right there where the pier started, basically, and we're able to just sit on the patio and watch fireworks.
That's
It
cool.
was like the most amazing thing ever. They were literally like right in front of us. I was afraid, you know, the remnants was going to fall down on the house, but super cool. Like that's become my family's like vacation spot every year that we look forward to.
And it all started at that time.
It all started because of Joe and his 40th. Yeah.
Well, you know, and that, like I said, that was my first exposure to like group vacation, but I've done them before to where like with me and my guys, right? Like my guys trip, but I don't consider that the same thing. Cause that's really just me and my brothers getting together and hanging out for a few days at a cabin. And those memories are just locked in, and I love those memories, but the whole like bunch of couples or whatever, that is a different energy. And we did it again in the form of a cruise. Like several years ago.
Yeah, you and your wife, I think, had experienced a cruise already, right?
Yeah.
That was not your first
We were the first
cruise.
ones to cruise out of our like entire group.
Yeah. And so we had never really considered going on a cruise at all. And then you and your wife went on a cruise and came back and was just like, that was the most amazing thing ever. Yep. And you're like, we got to all go together. Like, you know, and you had a couple other friends of yours. And then you invited us as well. So there was like 4 of us again. And we went on
4 couples.
Yeah, 4 couples.
4 married
Just couples. No kids this time.
Yeah.
So it was a couples only thing. And we went on, I think it was Carnival, right? Like a Carnival.
That sounds right.
Carnival's one of the kind of smaller cruise lines.
Yeah.
But we weren't going very far. I think it was just down the coast of like the Gulf of Mexico.
I don't remember.
Went to like Puerto Vallarta and Mazatlan and Cabo San Lucas were like the 3 stops on that one. It was kind of like we went out of like LA, I think. Yeah, right. Because we had to stay in we stayed in a hotel room together, me and my wife, you and your wife, remember? And I kept waking up because your phone would go off constantly in the middle of the night.
Before.
Yeah, before we disembarked, we had to go to LA, stay a night so that we could get on the cruise like early in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember that night I was like, why doesn't Skizz turn his phone off when we're sleeping? And it kept like ding.
Was it
ding? Ding, and I was like, this guy doesn't know how to silence his phone. What the heck?
I'm really surprised I didn't.
Yeah, you're like oblivious that it's going off and keeping me up all night.
I'm the
That's
worst.
the joys of sharing a hotel room. That's kind of why when we went to TwitchCon, I didn't want to share a room.
Shut up. That had nothing to do with it.
Not with you specifically. Just you know, I like having my room to my space, you know, to myself. But yeah, I remember that we stayed in the room. Remember we had walked across the street to Taco Bell.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can picture it now.
Yeah.
There was actually like, you had to like go up this little grassy knoll to get to it. Yeah. My goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Wow. What a weird thing to remember. Well, that was a lot of fun. And I remember that first night, this was so
on
crazy.
The ship. No.
First night on the ship. So the thing about, I'll talk later about the cruise that just my wife and I did before this one, but this one in particular was interesting to do this cruise with all this group or whatever. And the very first night was crazy. And I don't know what came over me, man, but
What happened the first night?
well, Paul,
I remember when you first get on the boat, like they just are throwing drinks at you. Like, like so, you know, like let's get the party started.
Yeah, and
did you hit the ground running too hard that day? I can't even remember.
Well, yes, but it was also, but it was more than that. So everybody had turned in around probably, I don't know, maybe 11, 12, 1 or whatever it was. I don't know what came over Paul and I, dude. Okay.
Vacation.
There is no tomorrow. I don't know what
Everything's
happened.
okay because I'm on vacation. what got in your head.
Yeah.
You were singing that song, I bet.
Yeah, anyways, we stayed up so long. We walked the whole ship together, like just hung out and just caught up together, just me and him. Everybody had gone to bed, and we end up walking through the casino. It's probably 2 or 3 in the morning. I don't know what it is.
Right, because casinos are like legal on the ocean because there's no state, or there's no like government.
Like, everything's legal, like pretty much
jurisdiction.
It's crazy how it works.
Pirates.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. So we found a Texas Hold'em table. Now the casino was essentially closed, but there was still like electronic stuff, and there was this big glass poker table that was all digital. And I'm like, Texas Hold'em, how is that going to work? And I was like, let's sit down at this and let's play, you know. And he's like, all right. So I like put $20 in. He put $20 in. I just want to see how it was going to work. Actually, pretty clever how the cards would digitally like slide over to you, and then you put your hand over this. It's just a glass table. Put your hand over it, and then you kind of push on the cards, and it would digitally peel them up to kind of reveal what they are, right? And I'm like, that is cool. You know what I mean? Now, when I play poker, I want to shuffle chips and everything, but this is neat. And I don't remember if I told this story in this podcast or not, but it was very late. Him and I were playing. Somebody came and joined us. Can I sit down with you guys? Absolutely. So this dude sits down, another person. Next thing I know, we got like maybe 5 or 6 people sitting at this table. And there's a good amount of money being thrown around. And it's kind of interesting because it's all digital, but you can see, where the money's going or whatever. Yeah. We're playing real poker here. And this is where it all gets pretty hazy. I ended up losing like a lot of money on a single hand, and it was really bad the way that hand went type thing. And I was pretty upset. And then I was like, I'll be back. I just got to walk away for a second, and I'm coming back. And I said to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, dude, and I may or may not, I don't condone this. Okay? I said it. Don't be like Skizz.
This is one of those times where it's like, don't do what I do.
Don't do what I do. I may or may not have punched something that I knew was not going to get broken because it was just a big, jagged chunk of metal. And that's a very dumb thing to do. This is an extremely dumb thing to do. But it was instantly, it split my hand open. And I didn't know it did. Like I was very reckless with the drinking that night. And
yeah, we had the drink package, didn't we?
Yeah.
Where you like basically if you don't drink 15 drinks, you wasted money.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm going to put an asterisk on the description of we were talking about drinking in this one and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. We're
adults
actually, you know what?
Adults only type
This
podcast
is an adults
here.
only. We have more stuff we're going to talk about. But anyway, so I go back to the table. I go back to the
we
table.
are going there. Okay.
And I'm playing and I'm like, what? How come? What's this red stuff all over? Oh, I'm bleeding a lot. I was bleeding a lot, dude. And I went and I like wrapped up my hand, and no matter what I was playing, I was bleeding a lot. It was I deserved it. You know what I mean? Nothing broke. I didn't hurt anybody or anything, but I got hurt, and I deserved every bit of it. So I was bleeding a lot. Anyways, I kept playing. I'm going to fast forward the story. About 5 a.m, apparently, is when I came to bed. And according to my wife, around 4 a.m, when she realized I wasn't in bed, she's so funny. She's like, well, I mean, if he fell overboard, there's nothing I can do about it. She was just able to go back to sleep. So I
gonna lose sleep over that.
Yeah, she had so much room to give me a lot of crap on this one, but she didn't. But I went back to bed. I went to bed at like 5 or whatever, and I slept till probably, I don't know, 9 or 10, right? And the people who do your sheets and stuff, I remember that guy catching up with me later that day because there was a lot of blood in the sheets from my stupid hand and my stupid decision making. And the guy was like, there was a lot of blood in your sheets. Do you guys have bed bugs? And I said, no. I said, you have a stupid patron, me. And I said, I hurt myself. I cut my hand. And I said, and he goes, oh, okay. He goes, we had a bed bug incident like a month ago, and it was a nightmare. And I didn't want to, and I was like, oh yeah, no, it's none of that. You're in the clear. I was like, It just turns out I'm an idiot. But I had to deal with that. Like that it kept getting like opening throughout the entire trip. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I needed stitches.
I remember that day because the rest of us turned in at fairly normal hours.
Yeah,
you were missing for like most of the day. And I'm just the whole day, I was like, where's Skizz?
Yeah.
Where's he? He's gone to nothing with us. Like, I thought we were on this cruise together for a reason, not so he could go off and do his own thing.
I just cashed in all my chips on that's it. Hey, hi, check this out. So I woke up and all like the memories started coming back to me from I'm like, what happened last night? And I was so embarrassed. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm such an idiot. This is not like me. And I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, I think I lost a lot of money at that table. So I start going through like, I added here, I added more, I added 20 more, I added 20 more, I added 40, I added 100. Like, oh my gosh, whoa, I added so much money. I'm like, I lost so much money. But it turns out then the memories came back and I started to play very well at the end. And I won all my money back. And so at the end of the day, where I originally lost like hundreds of dollars, it turns out I lost like maybe $17 or something because I got
$17 and your dignity.
A lot of dignity. I didn't have a lot to start with, so that was like, but
and some blood,
and some blood.
Oh, and the cruise ship probably had to throw away those sheets because there's no way they're getting blood off the white sheets. I'm sure
they are.
Yeah,
they can clean stuff.
I love you for that.
I'm already embarrassed.
What do you call the people that come? Like they have a name of the people that come and tend to your room. Do you remember what they're called? I have to look it up. So somebody in the comments can have to tell us.
Attendants.
No, I don't think they have a special name. Anyway, they were always so cool. Like actually, hats off to all. Like so far, I've been on 2 cruises. I think you've been on more than me. So far, every cruise I've gone on, staff is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where they find these people. It's almost like they love their job and they're just so nice. And I remember like there was a bar in like the middle of the ship. It was where you would go and do like the trivia and stuff. Remember that? I think we went for like some sort of Seinfeld trivia or something. Or was it?
I missed that one.
Was it?
No.
Was it Seinfeld or Harry Potter?
No,
Friends,
not Harry Potter.
It was Friends.
Was it Friends?
I think it was a Friends trivia. Anyway, so there was a bar in this area where they would do like all these fun little trivia games with people on the ship and stuff because they have a lot of different things to do on a cruise ship, but we like to go in here. And so my wife and I, we had like very specific kind of mixed drink that we were into during this cruise, and there was only one bar where they like made it correctly. You know what I mean? Like this bartender made it correctly for us every single time. It was like perfect blend, and so. Within minutes, I swear, this bartender memorized our names. And so and our drink orders. So the next couple days we'd come back and this bartender would call us by name and ask us if we wanted those specific drinks. Mind you, we're on a cruise with thousands upon thousands of people that must have crossed paths with this bartender and ordered drinks. And yet somehow she specifically remembered me and my wife's names and our drink orders. Like after just a couple orders that first day.
Yeah.
We're blown away. Like at the end of the trip, we went and like put money in an envelope and gave it to her directly because she like made our vacation that much better by having that like experience. Like that was insane. But we found a lot of other fun things to do on the boat. We did the trivia. I don't remember how that turned out. I think it was one of those things where like the questions were so stupid hard.
Well, so sometimes those trivia questions, they miss the mark where it's not. This is not Friends trivia. It's like this is a
what color was the mug that Chandler had in the episode where him and Monica broke up for the first time? You know what I mean? It was like it's like that kind of crazy stuff instead of like actual memorable moments. Yeah. So I think it ended up being one of those situations where they missed the mark, if I remember right. Yeah. But I don't know. Was it the second night that you somehow got life back in you?
Yeah, I had to have been the second.
And we did it again. Like this time, the rest of us were down to make a night of it. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I think it was. And so what happened that night? Like,
well, people kind of went in their separate directions, but you and your wife, me and my wife went and did.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, like this, like
the four of us.
Was that what was the night that we did like a salsa class?
Yeah, that was. I think it might have been that night.
Yeah,
I don't know. This was a while ago. I don't know how long ago this trip was. Maybe 7 years.
A long time ago,
something like that. But yeah, there was a night where. So I don't dance, ever. My wife was actually a dancer in high school, so she's not always loved the idea that I never go dancing with her. And so you know what? We're a drink package, we've enjoyed a few at this point. And there was like a dance lessons. Was it salsa?
It was salsa, yeah. I believe it was salsa.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my wife and I, we've done like East Coast swing classes and stuff. And so we like that type of stuff. It's fun. I mean, she likes it more than I do, like a lot more than I do, but I still like it, you know? So the four of us went and did that.
Yeah, we went and did that. And I actually enjoyed it.
You did great. You were great.
I got past, like, I got my courage juice kicked in. I got past some of the awkwardness.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is, and you, and God bless you, and your like unwavering competitiveness. Like, we're supposed to be having a good time. And my wife and I, like, since we have done dance classes and we both are, you know, whatever, we took to it fast. And it was like the first 10 seconds, we did something good. And you're all like, you were dancing, like, as you passed me, you're all, stop doing so good. It was like so funny.
Making me look bad.
It was so funny, man. But there were other people in that class. And I remember I convinced everybody that I made a big old joke that I had just met my wife on that boat and we just got married. And they're like, what? You know?
Yeah.
It's like a joke.
Yeah. They bought it too. Yeah. And then we went to some crazy weird, it was like an adult only trivia thing on the boat. We thought it'd be fun. Well, mainly because it was like the cruise director was like the MC of this thing. Remember that?
Yeah. But and that guy's got its own title too. And I remember it's like, is it cruise director?
You wanted to be one after your first cruise. I remember that.
Yeah.
But so we go into this thing and it was wild. It was not what I expected. Like an adults only comedy trivia show thing or whatever. And we had no idea what we were getting into. And we walk in and, yeah, it was adults only.
It was adults only. Like, to the point, you know me, I don't really get uncomfortable. I was like, I'm a little uncomfortable. Like, this is really going the distance.
It was like, there was some sort of competition, I remember. And they were just like, first team to bring up a bra on stage. It was like, next thing you know, our wives are like trying to figure out who can get it off fastest to bring up. And I'm like, whoa, we're really doing this. Like,
yeah, it's like, and they were like all in. And I remember I got to contribute because I just, like, they said, whoever can bring me a picture of a baby. And I'm like, I can't believe this. I literally just took a picture of my son when he was a baby because I wanted to show somebody. And I ran up there and I remember like, boom. And he's like, we got a point. I'm like, yeah, I contributed. Yeah. And there was a lot of craziness going on.
you had stepped away for a second.
Oh my goodness.
And it was like, first group to have two guys kiss or whatever. It was the thing. And I was like, where's Skizz? Where's Skizz? Because you just said it. I'm ultra competitive. So I'm like willing to do anything at this point.
I went to the restroom.
And finally you come back and so at this point our wives were like thinking this is going to be hilarious if you and I actually go through with this.
Yeah.
And I see you coming and I'm like, come on, we got to kiss. And you're like, well, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is I came in but when you were like, come on, I was like, oh, like there's something going on. Let's get another point. And I'm like running. You're like, we got to go up and kiss them all. No. I was like, no, we're not going to get that point, bro.
I was so disappointed, man. Not because I wanted to kiss you. I didn't. But, because we didn't get a point, So there is some fun stuff to do on cruises. I think, my sister just booked a cruise on Carnival. And I literally was like, look for that event because that was wild if you're into that kind of stuff. But after that, we kept the night going. Like we must have been on 12 of 15 on our drink checkoff list,
which is every day it's every day that it's reset. Yeah,
every day they give you, if you buy the package, you buy the drink package, it's like here's 15 to and then you get to 15 they cut you off.
Yeah,
which is crazy to think about. But anyway, so we had enough to go into karaoke.
Oh,
you remember we walked into there was doing some karaoke and. My courage juice was still kicked in because I signed up without you guys knowing.
Yeah.
Remember, I went and I was like, okay, I'll do this one. And then next thing you know, they're like calling me up on stage and you guys are like, what?
I was like, no way. And I was like, I'm going to get nice and comfortable and just watch this.
Yeah. Yeah. So I went up there and I think it was a Mariah Carey song. I was like going to have to do like multiple octaves and stuff. And I was like ready to show my range off to everybody that was in this venue. No, I picked the theme song to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because I knew I wasn't going to sing anything, but I knew the rap, and I actually didn't really need to actually have the words on a screen because I had it memorized. So there's a very bad rendition of me doing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I think somebody got a video.
You did great.
Somebody got a video of it.
You did great. Yeah, I don't remember.
In my mind, I crushed it, dude. I was on fire.
Yeah.
You know, I was better than Will Smith.
Will Smith? Probably not. So what do you like? What's your favorite hangout place on a cruise ship?
Oh, dude, if you can get it, the hot tub.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, like it was late at night one night, and we found a hot tub that I think only had like a handful of people in it, and we had our drinks, and we were able to just chill in the hot tub and relax. You know, poolside, a little loud, but that's nice lounging by the pool and stuff. But yeah, I'd say that, and then obviously the food on cruise ships was just incredible.
Yeah, the food's good. What's crazy, and I'll never be able to figure this out. I consider myself a foodie. You know what I mean? I do. I like food, and I like all different kinds, and I like spices, and I do. I always assumed when I went to a cruise ship where it's like a bottomless pit of whatever you want, that I would really take advantage of it. Every cruise I've been on, right? Like this.
Getting us in the dance mood. I'm going to shut that off.
That is a lot of blinking. What do you think it's trying to tell you?
It's trying to say, hey,
we got a light blinking.
My battery's going to die soon.
You think so?
Probably.
We got a light blinking. One of our lights is just blinking on and off. And it caused me to look at the TV, the monitor of my face.
You're telling a good story, and it was like, it was into it, man.
Definitely in need of a vacation. Anyways,
yeah.
So every cruise I've ever gone on, you would think that since I'm a foodie, I would really take advantage of not once have I ever. I always, believe it or not, eat an extremely scarce amount of food, and so I kind of did some self-analyzation on that. And why is that? And the bottom line is I am so unbelievably relaxed on a cruise ship that I don't have any need to do something like that. You know what I mean? I have I literally sometimes almost a whole day will go by. You know what I mean? I'm like, I should probably eat something, but I'm so unbelievably relaxed that I realize, I think a lot of my foodiness now is because I'm never relaxed. You know what I mean? I'm kind of uptight and I just have a lot going on all the time. And I think it's more stress and anxiety induced than anything else. When I'm on a cruise ship.
Comfort food.
Yes, absolutely. Always. It's more medicating.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's this unequivocally bad thing, but that's what I think it is. But like I said, I go on these cruise ships, and you know what? It was the same thing when a long time ago I was on a work trip. And we were able to basically reserve Disney, if you will. And it was nighttime, and they had these people coming around with these trays just loaded. They were everywhere. Trays of my favorite sweet in the world, which is Rice Krispie treats. They were bottomless pit. And I think I had half of one. They were everywhere, dude. And now sugar will make me not really feel that good, but it was mainly because I was like, I don't care. I'm just so relaxed and having such a good time right now.
It's opposite for me on a cruise because I wanted to experience it all, you know?
Yeah.
The food was so good. I just wanted to taste one of everything.
That makes a lot more sense to me. Yeah. A lot more sense. And
get your money's worth, man.
That's what exactly. Right. But that was just, to me, dude, I really like hanging out on the back of the ship. The very back of the ship, and leaning on the railing and just watching that water spur up and just watching that, and just watching, if you realize when that water is disrupted by the turbines or whatever, the propellers, and then you watch the trail of the boat, it's as far as the eye can see. It's just
a mile long.
it's just
crazy.
So beautiful. I don't know why I like that. And then if you go on the side of the boat, did you ever see the flying fish next to the boat? Oh my goodness. They would
sometimes you get dolphins too.
Sometimes you get some dolphins. Yeah. I remember it came out on my balcony one time. I'm like, that was a dolphin. That is amazing. And then the flying fish, they just pop out and they literally are just coasting through the air. I think I saw a single flying fish probably travel Typically it's the little ones. I think I saw one of them go probably over 10 yards, like in one jump. I'm like, the Cardinals can't even do that. Our own football team. You know what I mean? I'm like, this fish is pulling it off. So
people like the bird. I think a bird could do it. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, that's my thing. That's my relaxing
No, I'm
space.
with you on that. That's fun too. Yeah. I think I have had a fear though of going overboard.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Too much that where like going up to the side was making me a little bit like uncomfortable.
It's creepy.
Just because, like you go overboard and chances are you're done. Like there's a very slim chance you're surviving going overboard on a cruise ship.
Yeah, we did some research and some math on that in regards to what is the percentage likelihood that if you go overboard that you are rescued. And we looked it up. We were able to look up how many people have gone overboard and how many, and I don't remember the exact number, but I remember it being just frighteningly low.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go overboard, you're very likely gone. And
Right.
I got to tell you, this podcast took a turn because that is a legit fear and it's happened. And I think, can you imagine that? Can you imagine just floating in the ocean? You're like, how long can I tread water, dude?
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Next vacation.
Oh,
Or was
okay.
there more to that cruise?
Well,
I
there's
can't
more.
remember the.
Well, I'll tell you this.
I mean, that was the best bits probably.
Well, I think a lot of the reasons. So first of all, turning a cruise ship around is no joke, as you can imagine. So I remember, they have lifesavers all over the place, right? Those they're like donut lifesavers.
Yeah.
There's it's really concentrated styrofoam lifesavers, and they're all over the boat in case somebody goes over, chuck them one, and then get a hold of the personnel. And they have a rope on them that's like 4 feet. Because that's what it kind of tethers it to the spot that the lifesaver is on. That's all. That's like, there's a little rope on it. They don't even need one. It's just like the rope is like, this is where it goes or whatever. You pick it up, you throw it in the ocean, man. And I remember one of the girls that we were with, God bless her, I love her so much. She's just like, I just feel like that rope's not long enough. I'm all, what do you mean? She's like, look how short that rope is. Isn't that's not long enough, right? I'm all, long enough for what? Do you think it stays connected to the boat? And I was like, she's like, yeah, don't you throw it to them? And then they grab on. I'm like, no. I was like, do you know how fast we're going?
Yeah. And then they're just dragged by the.
we talked about, and her husband was just like, can you imagine? Like, and then like it comes and just like slamming up against the boat, bong. Just like their bodies just like bong up against the side of the boat.
Gosh.
So funny, but. In any case, I think that the reason the percentage is so low is because the probability of going overboard very much likely happens at night.
And this person alone, you drank too much.
See you, and once you go over, you even if you saw them go over, they're instantly vanish. And so who knows? That's a terrible thing to think about. But I will say that very first crazy night when Paul and I were cruising the ship, we were just walking around. This before it was like too late, and we found this flight of stairs that was towards the front of the boat. And we're on the outside, we're on the deck. And this flight of stairs goes up to what looks like another deck. And we're like, let's go up those stairs and maybe there's an even better view or whatever. As the stairs go up, they go through a door, a single door that's just like cut out, right? There's like, I don't even know if there's an actual door there. It's more like a doorway. Dude, I'll tell you right now, man, going up the stairs was a little spooky because you're getting real high up now. And you could never see it coming, but the breeze coming through that door, it was enough to where I thought for one brief moment, I thought I was going to get airborne and fly into the ocean.
Oh my gosh.
Like it was so overwhelmingly strong of a breeze. I was like, what did I just experience? I'm like, dude, go up there. And I said, but hang on and feel this breeze. And he went up and it was like a jet engine was blasting him in the face. I'm like, something atmospheric is happening here that it's all being concentrated on that exit. It's like, over at the biosphere too, I don't know if you ever went into the lung, but it's the same thing. It was kind of like that, but it was so powerful. And I remember we left. We went to get you guys. You guys got to come see this. This is incredible. I don't know if we grabbed you, but we grabbed a couple of the people in our group. Come look at this. Come look at this. We get back there. Maybe 10 minutes had gone by. They had already roped it off. Like it was like you couldn't get to it anymore.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, like you couldn't do it. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Like it should have been there the whole time. Like we weren't supposed to ever go up there. Yeah, it was crazy, man. Oh my goodness.
Leave it to you and Paul to find places on the ship you're not supposed to be.
I know, that's what we do.
Yeah, troublemakers, man.
I love
What
it.
else are you gonna do on a cruise, right?
Yeah.
We had some stops. We had some excursions. I don't think we do any together. Any excursions together? I think we ended up booking our excursions separately. But like,
I don't think
we had one
together.
that we got to a little private island lunch thing on, and you could go out and like paddleboard and stuff in the water. I don't think you ended up going on your own in like a taxi somewhere with Paul and
We did.
getting to places you weren't supposed to be again.
Oh, big time. Yeah, that was so. Was that Mazatlan?
Yeah, you didn't do a proper like city tour thing that's
No.
booked through the cruise. You guys decided to just wing it and pay a taxi and just take you wherever into the city on your own, which is
I wouldn't do that
very
again.
dangerous.
Yeah, very
I don't know why you
dangerous.
guys did that.
I don't really remember, but like, was it Mazatlan?
Probably.
Was it? I remember it being just like unusually hot, and I live in Arizona. I'm used to heat.
Yeah.
This was different heat.
Oh, maybe that was Puerto Vallarta because that's
That
a little more
sounds
south.
that could be it.
Because Mazatlan, I think me and my wife did like a glass factory, like glass blowing.
I think you
factory
nailed
tour.
it. I think it's.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I think you're in Puerto
Yeah.
Vallarta.
Yeah, and we went to. What we wanted to do was, we went into like the city, and we ate at some like local place for like they had this amazing tacos, and the guy made the guac right there in front of us in one of those like stone bowls, and and it was amazing. I mean, it was miserable because it was so hot, but it was just like it was so amazing. And then we were like, let's go to the beach. And we didn't know where we were going to go, but we found some like ads or when we got off the boat, they're like, come check out this beach. So we're like, we'll go to that beach. And we didn't pay enough attention to what this beach was going to be. And not that it, honestly, I wouldn't, for the record, I wouldn't change a thing because this was just such a great thing. As we're walking to the beach, the four of us, we're just getting closer and closer. And there's like, and signs, and I'm starting to see signs that are promoting the beach. And I'm noticing there's a common theme here that this is exclusively a gay beach, which I mean, that's 100% fine with that. I don't care. It's exclusively a gay beach. And I'm all, I don't want to be the guy that like ruins their vibe, if you will, you know what I mean? Like, and so I was like, whatever, I'm going to, you know what, this will be fine. This will be funny. And we get there and neither of the girls knew. And we got on the beach, we're on the sand. And then Paul and I went to get drinks and we come back and we're like, so you guys getting checked out by any guys? And they're like, no, but you guys are probably a hot commodity here because they realized, but it was like the most lovely experience. You know what I mean? It was just like, everybody was just so wonderful. And we just had this great time. And it was one of those things where, like you said, it wasn't a excursion connected with the cruise line, but it was an amazing excursion all the same. Yeah. It was just, I loved it. I wouldn't change a thing. It was great. It was great, man.
Oh, that was a fun trip. It was short, wasn't it? It felt like it was short. Did we do 7 days and it felt like it was 2?
I feel like
I think it was.
maybe. I feel like I don't know.
Maybe it
I
was a
feel
little
like
short. Maybe it was 5. I don't
yeah.
know. But no, I think it was longer. I think it was a 7-day because I remember I was on the boat long enough that when we got back, I had that like rocking, like back on solid ground, but I felt like I was still in the boat.
Oh yeah. That stays with you.
Weeks. I thought it was never going to go away.
Yeah.
Like there was a point in time where I was just like, this is the rest of my life. I'm going to feel like I'm rocking for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And finally, after like 2 weeks, it went away. I didn't get that I went on another cruise with my family. We did a shorter cruise to the Bahamas, and we were only on it for 5 days, and I did not get that like at all on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we ended up doing, because we liked that cruise so much that we were like telling our kids, like, we gotta take you kids on a cruise. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
And so we did another cruise, Royal Caribbean this time, out of Florida, and it was to the Bahamas, and there was like Royal Caribbean owns a little island in the Bahamas called Coco Key, and they have like a water park and all sorts of like, you can do scuba and snorkeling and all that kind of stuff. And so we like rented a bungalow by the big water slides so the kids could do that. And that was a good one. I remember, so my youngest, she was probably like 10. This was not too long ago, so a couple years ago maybe. She's like 10. And so she's just getting to that stage to where she's getting old enough to experience a little bit of freedom. You know what I mean? We're no longer going to baby her or whatever. And on the cruise ship, we finally got comfortable enough with her like going down to get pizza on her own. So she just thought that was the coolest thing in the world, that anytime she wanted a slice of pizza, she could run down, get a slice of pizza, and she would come back to the room with the biggest smile on her face because she was independent. You know what I mean? Like we allowed her to be independent on this cruise, knowing like, I mean, other than her going overboard, like, you know, everything's going to be okay. And so she wants to go on another one. Like she's like begging us. Yeah. Like since then we were like, oh, we're going to go on vacation, you know, back to maybe a beach house, or maybe we're going to go up north and do some kind of foresty cabin stuff. And she's like, that's not a real vacation. We have to go on a cruise. Like she's like upped her standard of what a vacation is.
That's amazing.
To now cruises are the only form of vacation that's acceptable to her.
Dude, that's great.
We went to like Universal Studios. Like we did more. Like you didn't just fly to Florida to get on a boat and come back and fly home. We spent another week in Florida. Like we rented a beach house in Florida. We went to Universal Studios. We didn't get a chance to go to Disney World. Have you ever been to Disney World? Like the big one?
Oh yeah.
Like you've been in Disney World Park?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did. So the first time, so I went, I think I've been there, I think maybe twice. But the first time I went, my daughter was so little, she was still in a stroller. And I remember, but the day we did Epcot Center, it was like, is Epcot Center one of, there's four parks. I think Epcot is one of them, or Epcot's a part of one of them. I don't remember. Anyways, it wasn't that it was just raining. It was overwhelmingly dumping rain, dude.
So did they shut down the park?
Nope. And I remember what's crazy about this is my daughter was in a stroller and we had it covered with like this plastic like casing or whatever, because it was like it had a roof on it or whatever. And I remember her like whipping the plastic out to like look at us. I remember that's just the cutest. She's like, no, I'm part of this type thing. And I was like, at least she's nice and dry in there. And I'm watching all this water pool on the top of it. And I'm like, is she nice and dry? And I peel back the plastic and it's a steady stream on top of her head. just like sitting there, just drenching her whole body, dude. It was so funny. Not a word.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was, I really like Disney World a lot. I'm not a huge Disney person. Like I like going to Disneyland with my wife for no other reason other than she loves Disney so much. But I would never like, the crowds. I'm not, Disney World, different.
Disneyland I've been to at least 5 times, since my kids were born, and then probably more when I was a kid too. And it's always just super packed.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I'm not one to like waiting in lines for, wait in line for an hour plus to go on a 30-second to maybe 2-minute ride if you're lucky.
VIP.
Like it's crazy. Yeah. But we went one time where the weather was kind of like up and down, you know what I mean? It'd rain and stop raining, rain, stop raining. And because of that, like there was no, like hardly anybody at the park. And we just like dealt with it. Like it was like a little sprinkle. Who cares? Like we like the rain. You know what I mean? Like we don't get enough rain here in Arizona that like when it rains, it's like, oh, this is great. Mm-hmm. And so like it was raining at Disneyland and it was like, again, it was like, I don't care. Go on this. I'll sit on this seat that's drenched because I didn't have to wait in line. You know what I mean? I don't care. I'll be wet and we'll just change clothes and it was good. And like that was my favorite Disney experience that we've ever had, was like going when it was actually raining because there was nobody there.
Yeah, that's
like the park to myself, man. Yeah. It was awesome.
So the first cruise I ever went on, the reason that I got into this, and I want to stay brief on the cruises because I'm going to talk about Hawaii a little bit. But the first cruise I ever went on was just me and my wife. We didn't really know what we were doing. And it was crazy to think that we literally almost missed the launch of the boat when the boat actually took off, because we had to take 2 planes to get to where we needed to disembark. And the second plane was so delayed that we were like, are you kidding me right now? Now the cruise line is one that booked all of our flights and everything. The second plane was so delayed that we started to get pretty worried about it. And as we landed and I got reception back, I just got a bunch of messages from the cruise line. We know your plane was delayed. We're sending a bus for you. Because they have buses that pick up the whole lot of you. And it was in New Orleans. We were disembarking from New Orleans and the bus shows up, dude. The bus is supposed to hold like 40, 50 people. It was the driver, the attendant who speaks to everybody, and then me and my wife, nobody else. They sent the entire bus because we were it. And when I say that we were like the last people on the boat. Bro, we got to security and you could see the ropes, security. I mean, you remember how long it takes to get through? There was not one person. They were like, just go over the ropes. We get there and they look at our stuff. We're going over that like metal bridge to get onto the cruise ship. And when I say that we were the last people on the boat before they disembarked, I'm telling you, we were the last 2 human beings to get onto the boat, and then the boat left. Because like we got on and they closed the door and up went in the I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? I was like
that boat just for you
oh
too.
My goodness. I was like
crazy.
that felt weird. And you know, I told my wife, I said, I'm not interested in making any friends on this cruise ship. She loves this story. I'm not interested in making any friends on this cruise ship. I just want to just be here with you. And she's like, whatever you want to do, just make it your trip. So we go to dinner that night. And you know, you eat with other people and stuff, right? You have a fixed time.
Yeah.
And there were 3 other couples there. And they were all about our age and they were all lovely and they were just wonderful. I'm like, actually, I'm going to enjoy just, I don't know, being off or whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to sit here and observe. I'm just going to be quiet and not trying to make friends.
Turned off the funny man persona.
I turned it completely off. And I just enjoyed listening to their stories and I didn't contribute. I should have split the difference, but I decided just to listen. And she's like, we went back. She's like, well, you should probably talk a little bit. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. But I was just enjoying my silence and just watching. Well, the next day for dinner time, I may or may not have gotten some drinks in me. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to have some fun now. And
that must have been shocking.
It was
to the rest of the people at the table.
Very
for you
shocking.
to go from a mute,
a 0 to 100. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she was like, one of the guys' name, he was so wonderful. He was such a great guy. He kind of took sort of the mic, if you will, that first night, as in like leading conversation, and he was great. And then the next night I got my silly self, and this guy was just like, where did this guy come from? And next thing you know, we really are just having the greatest time. And I'm like, tonight, you guys got plans? I don't care. We're all playing craps tonight. And so they were like, we're in. So all of us got our own craps table, dude. And we just played and played for hours. And next thing I know, I'm like falling in love with all of these people, like all of them, all 3 guys, all 3 women. Like they were just great. And the cruise ship or the cruise was days away from being over. And I was already missing them because I know how this is going to work. I'm never going to see them again. I know that. And on top of that, one of my excursions with my wife was we were going to go see the Mayan temples. And, one of the couples happened to be in the same exact excursion we were in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so, so the Mayan temples was just me and my wife. Another excursion was a 4-wheeling like through the city. It was like a little buggy and we're like, let's partner up. And it literally holds 4 people. So it was like me and the guy in the front and then in the back, I think the back was actually a little bit higher. So the girls were like a little bit higher than us. We're driving this buggy through town and just having this great time. And I remember his name was Justin. I don't remember his wife's name. She was really, really cool. And we just got so tight with them, you know what I mean? And then my wife and I made really good friends with another married couple that we just met, and we brought them into the group, if you will. And next thing you know, we have this like really tight knit group. And when it was all said and done, and we said our goodbyes to each other, you knew what was happening. Everybody knew I'm never going to see you again. Yep. And I really wish that wasn't true. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't just like, oh, the cruise is over, we're not going to talk. It's like, we're all aware. We all live in different states.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like, you know what? Let's not be sad about it. Let's just be glad it happened, you know? And to this day, I feel like it was, yeah. What?
That's a good mentality.
Yeah.
Just be happy it happened.
I just hope that I want them all to still be well. You know, I will say this.
You didn't trade phone numbers, nothing.
I did with one of them. So the couple that we made friends with, this guy, their names were, her name was Olivia and his name is Vinny, and they weren't married, but they were a couple. Everybody else was married, but they were a couple. And, they were great. And I remember him being like, I really want to get your number. He's like, his whole thing was, he's like, I really dig your energy, man. He's like, I really want to get your number. I'm like, okay. So I forgot to give it to him, dude. But then we get off the ship and I happened to bump into him in New Orleans. As we're waiting we're about to go to the airport. He's like, oh my God, dude, I need your number. So I got his number and we actually did correspond for a little bit. And I almost wish I didn't, because I come to find out their relationship didn't make it. Like a couple years later. I remember being so sad about that. I remember being so sad about that, dude. And, but what are you gonna do? But anyways, so I guess ignorance is bliss. You know what I mean? I still, in my mind, the other three couples, in my mind, they're still very much together. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm going to leave it there.
So cruises are awesome, in our opinion. Yep. And you got one coming up.
I do.
That your wife just planned. I got one coming up as well. We couldn't help ourselves. Actually, we had cruise credits.
Oh, okay.
So what happened was the cruise that we ended up doing in the Bahamas, we had actually booked to do many years ago, and then the pandemic hit. So we had to, they canceled all the cruises, and when they did that, they gave us like double, basically. They basically like doubled how much money. So they kept our money, but they doubled it in cruise vouchers. So now it's like you have to use it, right? So we ended up doing the cruise we were supposed to do to the Bahamas, and then we had credit left, and we're like, well, we're going to obviously use that. And so we're going on a cruise to Alaska in June. So my wife's looking forward to that and seeing the glaciers. And
that's a cruise. That's a bucket list that we want to do that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Should. Well, we'll find out if it's good. And we're going to do the dog sledding and
my goodness,
the glaciers and stuff, and ride a train through Juneau. I don't know. Anyway, so we got that trip coming up. Looking forward to it. But it's kind of funny that we're gonna go, like, our vibe is this like beach, ocean, warm climate stuff, and now we're gonna go on a cruise to Alaska where it's gonna be cold and glaciers and stuff.
Well, so I really want to do that cruise because specifically, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I might be kind of mixing, my brain might be scattered here, but I love the show The Deadliest Catch. And I think that there's a bar in Alaska that all the fishermen meet at the beginning of each season and the end of each season. It's more like, it's a restaurant, but it's like a restaurant / bar or whatever. I don't remember the name of it is, but I think that's in Alaska. I could be wrong, but.
And you just really want to go there.
I do. Oh, yeah. I want to, because I love that show. You know what I mean? So I want to go where they go. Okay, so enjoy that one, man.
Yeah, enjoy yours too.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of funny, the dichotomy of like we like the
beach
warm beach stuff. Like everything has been like, Cabo San Lucas and San Diego Beach and the Bahamas. It's all been beaches and oceans and warm, and now we're gonna like completely flip the script and go up north.
So I mean, the beaches that like where the pink dolphin is and stuff, that water's, I mean, it's just like perpetually cold. It just is. And if you go to the east, don't even go in the water in the East Coast because it's ridiculous. But like Hawaii, have you been to Hawaii? I forget.
No, but we went further to Moorea, to the Tahiti.
Okay. So Hawaii,
but I've never been to Hawaii. No.
Well, my wife is Hawaiian. So like that's like kind of dear to her, and it's dear to me. And I like Hawaii a lot. We've gone there many, many times, and that water hits very different. And so you're familiar with it. And so on the very first cruise we went to, maybe that was Cozumel, where we went snorkeling, and the water was just beautiful, but it was more than beautiful. It was like it was drinking water. It was not drinking water, it's ocean water, but for some reason it was as clear as glass. And it was crazy to be able to see that far. You know what I mean? I remember that every time I snorkel, it's murky and gross. It was, oh my goodness. It was just like our diver must have gone down maybe 30 feet and dug this big old, like the spider crab out of this rock, and which was really cool. Snorkeling. He was underwater for like 3 minutes, dude. I still can't get over this. And I'm watching him do this. I'm like, he's so far away from me, but he's so clear. Like that was incredible. But we tried to do that when we went to Hawaii. I just want to talk about Hawaii just for a second, because I had a crazy experience at my very first Hawaii trip ever. This was back when my wife and I were a lot younger. It was very early in our marriage. We went to go boogie boarding, and I took a wave to the side of the head. That was just, it was a good one, dude.
Oh yeah.
It was a good one.
You got to be careful.
Yeah. And when it hit me, I lost hearing in my ear like this. And I'm like, ooh, hopefully that's temporary. And I didn't know what was going on. I kind of talked about this on the podcast. I'm fine now, but I spent the rest of the trip deaf in one ear, which it was weird. My whole life was just weird. I had to go to the doctor afterwards, and they pulled a bunch of wax out of my ear and fixed it. But I was like, what the heck was that? Like, that almost ruined the whole trip. But it was still like, that's when I realized I got to come back here over and over again. And I love Hawaii, specifically Kauai. You got to go to Kauai. Yeah, go to Kauai.
Yeah. So we flew past Hawaii because we have a treadmill, and it's got this program. I think it's called iFit, and there was like hike these mountains in Maria or whatever, and it was with this couple, these two trainers. They're a couple, and I think they're married. Anyway, so we just really like these two people. They just seem like awesome people, these two trainers, and so they were hiking through the mountains in Maria, and and as they like pan around the island and stuff, we're like, wow, this place looks beautiful. And then we just decided someday we're going to go do that hike. Like after doing it virtually on a treadmill, like we're like, we want to go do that hike. And so we planned our 20-year anniversary trip to go to Moorea, which is an island off of Tahiti, which is part of the French Polynesian Islands. So basically it's like we flew to Hawaii and then stayed on the plane for a couple more hours and landed in Tahiti. And like, I guess like Tahiti gets, I can't remember the exact numbers, but the amount of visitors Tahiti gets in like a year is like the same as Hawaii gets in a week. It was something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Like, and so that was like part of the charm for us too, was like not to have to deal with such massive amount of tourism and people.
Yeah.
Like we wanted a place that was more kind of off the beaten path and less known. And I got to tell you, that was a trip of a lifetime, like to the point to where, I mean, yeah, we had to throw down for it. We saved up, like, I think we spent like 5 years of not celebrating our anniversary and not buying each other presents. And we just kind of like put it into a piggy bank type of thing to save up for this trip. But it topped anything I think we'll ever be able to do again.
That's cool.
I don't see that happening. But we had the same kind of thing with the ocean. Like the water was just warm.
It's like warm.
Like,
yeah.
Not bath water warm, but like very comfortable temperature.
Yeah, it's colder, it's cool, but it's not cold by any stretch of the imagination. It's just like this perfect whatever.
Yeah, and it was like perfectly, clear, and we could see to the bottom. And where we stayed, it was like we had the bungalows over the water. Ugh. You know what I mean? Like the dream, right?
I want
the bungalows over the water, where there was a glass floor, and you could look through the floor of your bungalow and like see fish, and there was like a reef. This was over like a protected reef, and like you could go out onto the balcony of your bungalow, and there's steps to just go down into the water and just snorkel right there. Wow. And we did. We snorkeled. I took the GoPro and a waterproof, the GoPro is like waterproof case thing, and took some video of like snorkeling under the, right off of our bungalow. And it was magical, man. Like, oh, that's the joke. It was Tahiti, the magical place. I think
that's so cool.
And it really was. Like, it was an insane vacation. Like, and we went all out. Like we did first class on the flight, so we had those like lay down seats, to where we could just like sleep and all that. Like we went all out. But one of my favorite things was we rented a mini Jeep to just go around. We circled the entire island. Like there's a road that just goes on the entire like outside of the island of Moorea. And we wanted to do a full loop, and they're like, "Yeah, you can do a full loop in like 2 hours or whatever." And so we rented this mini Jeep, and I'm nervous, I get anxiety of new situations and driving a car I'm not familiar with, and going places I'm not familiar with, in a country I'm not familiar with, where they don't even speak English most of the place.
Right.
And so I was a nervous wreck about it. But then the second I turned on that engine and I started to go, like, all of that was out the window, and I was just having like the best time of my life driving this. Like there was no power steering, so I'm like forced in every, but I was just loving it, dude. This thing was like this tiny little, it was a mini Jeep, and I thought that was the coolest thing. It was like, I felt like a kid, like they had those like 4x4s, the powered 4x4s for kids.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like. I felt like, but just a little bit more grown up version of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was cruising around the island, just having the time of my life. And then we made our way. We made our way to the hiking path that we had hiked on the treadmill on an iFit program with.
That's right.
So we had found the place. We drove the 4x4.
Explain what you just said.
It was a hiking trail
like that you do here at home digitally.
Yeah, we had done it on the treadmill and watched the trainers on the treadmill do it and seen it firsthand. It was a 3 Pines hike. If anybody has iFit, Hannah Eden and Paulo Beretta. There's the 2 trainers. Woo, remember the names. And they do a hike. He did it was Paulo, I think, that did the 3 Pines hike in Maria. And so we were like, we're going to do that hike. Like, we have to do it. And so it had rained the day before. And so we were a little bit worried because like the hike we knew it was going to be a little bit muddy and stuff still from the rain from the day before. But we drove the 4x4 up to the trailhead and we started the hike. And it was wet and humid and stuff. And it literally takes you into like the jungle, like up into the mountains of Maria. And we're doing it, and we both realized it's a lot harder to actually do it.
Yeah.
You know, than to just do it on a treadmill in the comfort of your own home. Like I'm like, how many parts did they cut out, or did Paulo just speed run this? Like, because I only remember the hike being like 30 minutes on the treadmill, and like we ended up doing it for like an hour and a half to get there and back. And we got up to the top, and we were like, it got steep enough that we were like bear crawling up the mountain. We finally get to the top, and there's like the most beautiful summit ever, to where you can actually see the bays of Maria, and there's the 3 pines, like 3 pine trees, bang, 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 and it's the pine trees aren't like prevalent, so they stick out. And then there's like a swing that somebody had put in between 2 of the trees, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. My wife got on it, started swinging out like over the summit, like, and I was like, you're crazy, but she had to do it, you know?
Yeah.
It was a chance of a lifetime. And so that was really cool. That was a trip we'll never forget. I was so glad that like we just got to bug up our butt to go experience that same hike that we did on a treadmill.
That's cool.
And this experience, because like we saw the trainers like showing video of the bungalows and stuff, and we're like, wow, that would be quite the experience. So yeah, we got a chance to have a vacation of a lifetime.
I want to do that. That sounds really cool.
It did very much feel like a once in a lifetime type of thing. Although I'd love to go back, but it's expensive.
Yeah,
it was super expensive. We threw down for that one, but yeah, the memories are worth it. You're a very memory oriented person when it comes to how you spend your money. Yeah. So I could see that being something that you would want to like put on your bucket list for sure.
That's a good call. That's a good call. And for you need to get to Hawaii at least once, if for no other reason other than you can't go your whole life and not see the Arizona, right? This
True.
It is what an experience it is. I mean, you feel like you just got like pulled into, remember in Harry Potter when they got pulled into the book, you feel like you got pulled into the book of history of that day.
Wow.
It is.
That's awesome. Because like we love going on the USS Midway in San Diego and touring that boat, but obviously there's not as much history with that as there is with the Arizona and the whole Pearl Harbor attack and everything. So wow, that would be
crazy.
Incredible.
The way they built the monument to the ship. It's like it's like a bridge over the ship. You can see the ship. You can still see it. It's part of it's still sticking out of the water. But here's what's crazy. That was a long time ago that happened, man. And it's still leaking oil. You can see the oil today. You can still see the oil like on the surface right above.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, I remember being like, what am I looking at? How is that? Is that oil? And they're like, yeah, it's still leaking after all this time. Jeez. That happened in the 40s. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, you must be joking. Like it just makes it, it makes it so
like
real.
A pinhole leak.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Okay. I'll definitely put that on the list.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Oh, vacations are great. You know, we talked about, using them to recharge our batteries and all that, but, I think it's the memories, right?
Oh yeah.
Like that's the best part, you get that recharge, but the memories that you get to keep from just taking time away from your day to day, the things that keep you just busy to go experience things and have these memories made with your family. Cause especially the trips with the kids, it's like, those are the ones that's like, okay, they're never going to be this age again. I'm never going to, the next time I go on a cruise ship, my daughter's not going to light up the same way she did when she got to go get pizza by herself, because next time she's going to be 15 years old and you know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal anymore to have that independence. Like that was the one time I got to experience that, and so that's something that I'm going to remember forever.
You've told me that story with the pizza several times and it never gets old. And it is such a testament that that is a memory that is locked into your mind and heart. And you're absolutely, I agree with you 100%. Like I know a guy who spent like $12,000 updating or upgrading his bathroom, which is, I mean, it's probably a killer bathroom now. Good job. And I was like, yeah, that's, he showed me pictures. I'm like, that bathroom looks great, man. He's like, this is what I do with my money, man. And he's like, I'm not going to waste it on vacations. You know what I mean? Cause I think I just talked about one of my vacations. He's like, you do vacation, you come back, all that money's gone. I'm all, the memories aren't, man. Like they're there forever. You know what I mean? But that wasn't important to him for whatever reason. But I remember being like, I don't think he gets it. Like this is, you're absolutely right. The memories, they last forever. And when you have it, here's the deal. Think about that dynamic. Your daughter getting that pizza. It's a memory that you have. The pizza is what was a big deal to her. To you, it was watching the pizza be a big deal to her. The independence, her having acquisition, the pizza, that was what you locked in. But the memory is sticking with her. And when you're gone, she's going to remember that moment. And when she has like these events with her kids, that energy is going to pass through. Like, this is what I mean. Like the money is super temporary, but the memories have the potential to be everlasting. So give in.
That's well put.
Yeah.
That's well put. Well, this was great.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, everything towards the end of every podcast, we got to think of a way to like make sure that, this was the whole point of this podcast.
No,
I mean, I guess part of it is just enjoy life. You know what I mean? Like, it's all good to have stuff. Stuff's cool, but memories, man. And those times that you have with family or just getting away and decompressing. Like that's what it's all about.
It doesn't have to be some super expensive, extravagant vacation for it to be worth it. It's just go make the memories.
That is true. Like everything we talked about, did cost money, and renting houses on beaches and getting on cruises and flights to Hawaii and all that stuff.
Those hurt the pocketbook, man, big time, but it's worth it.
Dude, nothing beats like just going on a drive, like you're right. Yeah. Stuff doesn't have to be crazy. You should go on a drive. Like for us, it's like going to drive up to Flagstaff and go play in the snow. Yeah. Like little stuff like that. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It's going to generate memories as well. So
get them locked in.
Oh man. Can we go on vacation right now?
I want to. We honestly, dude, honestly, as we close up this podcast, you and I and the wives, we really, it's been a long time, and those are fun. Yeah. So we should put something together.
Now I'm sad we didn't say something about the Alaskan cruise. I had no idea that was on your list.
That's on our list, man.
Hey, maybe we can still get on the boat.
Maybe we'll look into it. We'll come crash your party.
Yeah, come crash it. Okay. Oh man. All right. Well, speaking of, I mean, we're getting into the holiday season. We just had, well, I guess by now, by the time this comes out, Thanksgiving will be a couple weeks in the past, but Christmas is right around the corner.
Yep.
I'm not sure what that's going to do with the podcast. If we're going to have any kind of special holiday-ish shows. We've got a couple on the docket.
We do. We don't know where this, we do know where this podcast is going in the next handful of episodes. So
yeah,
we feel pretty professional right now. Like we have our ducks in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually it's like we show up and I hit the record button and then we are like, what's the topic today?
Yeah.
No. But we got some things coming, guys. So hang in there. There's going to be some more guests in the future. And we've got one in the works that could very well change.
Don't say any names.
I'm not going to say any names, but we've got one in the works where our scenery may change for an episode.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Heavily, if we can make this work.
For one episode.
It's going to be a very interesting episode if we make it happen. So got some good stuff coming. So thanks to everybody that have found your way to our podcast and are continuing to watch and listen.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that. Drop stories of your favorite vacations and stuff. We love just reading through comments and hearing everything. So plus it helps the algorithm. So
yeah, but no, I do want to hear that because they might have ideas for us, or they might have ideas for other people in the comments.
Yeah, good vacation spots. Like you recommended Hawaii. I recommend Tahiti/Moorea.
Yeah.
If you can do it. So yeah, what's your recommendations? Where have you guys been?
Yeah.
A trip through Europe would be cool too. Yeah, I got lots on my bucket list now.
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
So much.
All right, well, we got to get going actually.
Yeah. All right, that's it.
We got stuff to do. So another fun one.
See you guys.
See you guys later.